and gentlemen. I am your saviour, Sam Graves, and welcome to episode 5 of my pay-per-view series of 1999, where I review pay-per-views, wrestling pay-per-views from 1999. Today we continue looking on at ECW, and we are looking at ECW Anarchy Rulz 99, spelled R-U-L-Z, because this is, of course, in the middle of the Attitude Era. Just a quick note before I start the show proper. I will be now doing these in a new format, so every pay-per-view that I review will be done in a two-part format. So half the show will be reviewed, and then the second half, which will contain the final thoughts, overall grading of the pay-per-view, will be in the second half. So, just thought I'd mention that before I start. Due to a couple of complaints that I had with the last pay-per-view, I didn't feel that I was up to my best in terms of standards of reviewing, but then again, also during the Heatwave review, I was quite sleepy and tired as well. So that will be the format going forward. So, last time out, we looked at ECW Heatwave 99, which was, of course, back in July, and I gave that 9.5 out of 10. I thought it was the best ECW show to date that I've seen. Every match on the card was, at the very least, decent. Really, really solid match on that card. Matches from top to bottom on that card. Taz vs Tajiri was good. Main event between the Impact Players and Lynn and RVD was great. Match between Little Guido and who was Guido facing on that pay-per-view? Yeah, the match between Guido and Super Crazy was really, really good on that card. Gave it 4 stars. Really enjoyed that match. And yeah, this and pay-per-view was just good in general. Is 9.5 out of 10. Highly recommend going to watch it. If you can find it on the network, or if you can find some of the matches on YouTube. Recommendations for matches, well, definitely be the main event and Tajiri versus Taz and Super Crazy versus Little Guido if you're going to watch any matches on this show. So, today we're looking at ECW Anarchy Rulz. It is September the 19th, 1999, and we are live at the Odeum Expo Center in Villa Park, Illinois, right outside Chicago. There is a crowd of 6,000 rabid ECW fans on hand. Of course, it's Chicago, so most of the Chicago fans are usually rabid for any wrestling show, even WWE today. Of course, Chicago is one of the best cities for wrestling. Also, Philadelphia comes to mind, New York, LA, Toronto, Montreal, in terms of good Canadian crowds, and also, to some degree, St. Louis, Missouri as well. So, right before the pay-per-view starts, we have a video package. Masato Tanaka is making his way down the ramp into the car park underneath the arena, but he is blocked by Judge Jeff Jones. Tanaka gets out. Steve Burswick, I think his name is, the interviewer. He basically asks for his thoughts on Tanaka, on his match against Taz for the ECW title tonight. Of course, this is Masato Tanaka's return to the company after he injured himself earlier in 99. Tanaka doesn't even get a chance to explain when JJ comes over. That's Jeff Jones, the judge. He basically says that tonight he has a surprise, and it will be awesome. Tanaka just ends up punching him in the face. And the crowd, the ECW crowd who are there, they basically move out of the way so Tanaka continue driving into the garage. JJ then gets back up and says tonight his surprise will be awesome. So 2 plugs tonight. Anyone who's watched this pay-per-view will know exactly what's going on tonight, if you hadn't guessed already. So, after this, we're in the ring, introduced to the show by Cyrus and Joey Styles. Get the crowd hyped, and off we go with our opening contest. So, in our opening contest, Lance Storm defeated Jerry Lynn in what I think is the best match I have ever seen in ECW up until this point. I'm quite happy to give this the whole hog 5 stars. Wonderful match between these two. This match went between 20 to 25 minutes, full of psychology, and this is my type of match. Jerry Lynn comes out, he has got taped ribs, being injured by Lance Storm on the previous episode of Hardcore TV. when Dawn Marie distracted Storm, and Storm was beaten up by Just Incredible, and Lance beat up by Storm and Just Incredible, aka the Impact players. This match gets off to a brilliant start. Great chain wrestling at the start, including a really nice sequence between Storm and Lynn. Where Lynn attempts a monkey flip, and what does Storm do? Storm counters that into a cartwheel. And I'm sitting and cheering, and it's not even 2 minutes into the match, and already I'm actually popping hard for what's going on in the ring. Great sequences in this match. Phenomenal work by both guys. Storm works the ribs of Lynn throughout the entire match. Lynn sells it beautifully. Really good spot where chair's set up in the corner by Dawn Marie. She throws a chair into the ring, Storm grabs it, sets it up in the corner. Basically, Storm goes to throw Lynn to the chair. Lynn manages to basically jump over the chair. That'll go on the top, gets crotched, but then Storm crotches him on the top rope. Storm then hits a really nice back suplex off the top rope. The chair's basically used, and then Storm basically tries to throw Lynn into the chair again, but this time Lynn instead of going into the chair, he goes ribs first into the ring post. Storm, a really nice pinning sequence between these two. All gets two. Storm does a really nice counter out of a cradle pile driver. He counters that into a really nice swing, into a really nice DDT. That gets two. There's a really good waistlock sequence. Lynn attempts a German suplex. Storm floats over and counters that into a Canadian backbreaker, which is fantastic. But Storm gets even more points from me because instead of just dropping Lynn onto the mat, he counters it. He basically holds Lynn in an elevated backbreaker position. Really great work on the ribs. Really good sequence I forgot to mention earlier in the match as well, where Storm attempts to go for he attempts to go for a suplex on Lynn. Lynn counters that into a tilt-a-whirl head scissors. That's really nice. A couple of dives in this match as well. Lynn hits a really nice tope suicida. That's really good. And end of the match, the Canadian Crab the Canadian Crab is teased many times. Storm does manage to get it on very late into the match, but Lynn manages to get to the ropes. But Storm, actually being the brainy fucker that he is, Lynn attempts a sunset flip, and Storm counters it by grabbing him and locking him in a Storm locks him in a half Nelson pin and basically traps Lynn's injured ribs down and manages to hold him down for the 3 count. And I was sitting here. Now, I know a lot of people would say that's probably anticlimactic, but it makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense for the finish because Lynn, throughout the whole match, has had his injured ribs worked over. Lynn, began his comeback earlier in the match. Multiple teases of the cradle pile driver. Multiple teases of use of a chair before Lynn eventually, decides to go into the post instead of going into the chair. The chair does get used one time in this match, and I forgot to mention this. One time in this match, when Lynn attempts to go for a tornado DDT out the corner where the chair is, but as he goes to the swing part, Storm grabs the chair and smashes it into Lynn's ribs. That's one thing I did forget to mention. That's one thing I did forget to mention. Lynn's in the corner where the attempts a tornado DDT off the top rope, and then Storm basically, as Lynn attempts the swinging part of it, Storm jabs him in the ribs with the chair. That's really good. A 5-star match. I would highly recommend the go to watch this. Just fantastic from both guys. Psychology worked well. Not at all a spot fest. End of the match I haven't got a problem with because Storm traps him down with the injured ribs to get the win. And yeah, just a wonderful, wonderful match. And there's only 1 or 2 matches in ECW that come close to beating this match in terms of greatness. One is the Jerry Lynn RVD match from Living Dangerously, which was a 4 3/4 match I gave it, and then the other one was the tag match at Heatwave between Lynn and RVD versus the Impact Players. That was a 4.5-star match. Jerry Lynn seems to be the most consistent wrestler in ECW by far. He's great. He's not been in a bad match at all so far in the series that I've seen him in. So after this, we go to the ring where Simon Diamond is in the ring, and he cuts a rather generic promo, saying that he wants to choose a worthwhile tag team partner. Simon's making his pay-per-view debut tonight. The crowd start chanting "You suck dick" at him, which is quite hilarious. And then Simon comes back with a great counter. He goes, "Oh, I didn't realise I'm sharing the entire arena with 6,000 homosexuals," which was hilarious counter by Simon Diamond, because the guy who plays Simon Diamond in real life is actually gay, and he comes out with a perfect counter, and the crowd rightfully boos this to shit. The crowd boos this to shit. I'll give Simon credit. That was a great counter. Oh, I'm sharing the arena with 6,000 homosexuals. Anyway, Simon basically cuts a generic promo where tonight he's going to be he's making his pay-per-view debut. He wants to choose a worthwhile tag team partner. This brings out Jazz. You know, Jazz is basically, her thing at the moment is she wants to make a name for herself, so she basically comes out to offer Simon herself as a tag partner. Simon basically then becomes a misogynist and says that all women are useless, and says that Jazz is from the ghetto. Jazz, of course, does not take kindly to this, jumps on the mic and calls him a piece of shit, and then proceeds to attempt to punch him in the testicles. But there's a couple of guys on the outside of the ring who are from the ECW training facility, the House of Hardcore, and one of them is a guy called Tommy Mendoza is his name. He attacks Jazz earlier in the night, basically before this. Simon had basically said to Tommy, "Do you want to be his tag partner?" And he goes, "Yeah," but Simon didn't say. So yeah, so after this it leads to a bit of a back and forth between Tommy and Jazz. It did lead to a match, but I'm not going to bother rating it because it literally went a minute and a half, and there wasn't even a finish. Jazz hits an X Factor on Tommy. Simon then basically interrupts the 3 count. He attacks Jazz. This then brings out a massive brawl. He's then attacked, and then Jazz is then beaten down by loads of guys. C.W. Anderson, Vito LaGrasso, better known as Big Vito, Angel someone. 2 of these guys will become the Baldies in ECW in 2000, and what goes on in this will lead to a match at November to Remember. So this brings out Chris Chetti and Nova. They try to make the save, and then Simon Diamond says, "Okay, I've got my tag partner," so he chooses Tony DeVito as his tag team partner. Tony, of course, one part of the Baldies. So this leads to our 3rd match of the night, and this one I will rate. So in the next match, Tony DeVito and Simon Diamond. Tony DeVito and Simon Diamond versus Chris Chetti and Nova went to a no contest in a meh match, a 2-star match. This one, it didn't go very long, and I'll tell you why it gets such a high rating. It's because of the spots that Nova does. Basically, Chris Chetti gets beaten outside of the ring before the match by Vito and C.W. Anderson. This is basically Nova gets battered in this match. There's a really nice moonsault, a really nice springboard moonsault by Nova in this match. Tony DeVito hits a really nice top rope DDT. That gets 2. Simon then hits the Diamond in the Rough. That gets 2. Chris Chetti manages to make his comeback. They hit a Tony basically Nova hits the Kryptonite Crunch on Simon Diamond, but then the entire majority of the Baldies come out and they absolutely batter Nova, so the referee throws the match out. After this, Nova, Jazz and Chris Chetty are getting battered on the outside, 5 versus 3. And then, of course, somebody's familiar music comes out, and then New Jack makes his way down to the ring. This was entertaining as hell, this bit. New Jack comes out with his bin full of weapons, comes out, he smashes Vito over the head with I think it's like a picture frame or something like that. He smashes Vito. He smashes Tony DeVito over the head with a picture and a picture frame. He hits. So he's trying to think because he uses so many weapons in this bit. Oh, that's it. He then hits Simon Diamond with a waste paper bin of all things. He then whacks C.W. Anderson in the face with a chair, and then he then manages to grab Vito LaGrasso in the ring. Now Vito, I'll give him credit for this. He must have had some balls to do this. New Jack takes a staple gun out of his bin full of weapons, and basically staples Vito right above his eyebrow. And Vito, to his credit, he's a man for taking this. He basically Jack insets 3 staples above him, and Vito is literally rolling around his eye, grabbing his eye like that. And then just because New Jack has decided he hasn't enough fun, he then grabs Vito and staples him in the nuts. Which I literally had to pause the pay-per-view for about 2 minutes because I couldn't stop laughing at this. This, of course, then Simon Diamond and the Baldies retreat up the ramp. So this does lead eventually somewhere, because I know for the next pay-per-view it's a 6-man tag. It's New Jack, Nova and Chris Chetty versus the Baldies and Simon Diamond, in a match that, frankly, I am looking forward to, because it's probably just going to be one of those fun hardcore brawls like New Jack had against Mustafa Saeed back at Living Dangerously, which I thought was a much better match than it had any right to be, but it was entertaining as hell. So far we've had a 5-star, a 2-star match, and Jazz versus Tommy Mendoza I didn't bother rating because of the fact that it was more of a segment than a match. That was a 2-star match. It wasn't crap like the Sid one, because it was very entertaining in the post-match, and some of the moves during the match, including the moonsaults and the really nice neck breakers and DDTs that the heels were doing. So after this, we get our next proper match of the night, as Tajiri defeated Super Crazy and Little Guido in a really good 3-way dance. 3 3/4. I'm going to give this one. Not as good as the matches that I've seen these guys have in singles matches, but really, really solid match nonetheless. Guido's, of course, accompanied by Big Sal. Sal gets the usual "you fat fuck" chants before the match starts. Tajiri is now wrestling in his typical tights, his Japanese dragon trousers that he has. Before this, he'd been wearing trunks, which is weird seeing Tajiri in trunks, but anyway, I digress. This match is what you'd expect from these guys. There's a really, really good starting sequence, including Tajiri being caught in a tree of woe in the corner, and then Crazy then jumping off the top rope and redoing a rebound springboard crossbody on Guido, which was really good. Sal gets involved a couple of times in this match. He on the outside, he gets drop kicked by Crazy off the apron onto the concrete floor. When he tries to get involved, then there's a seat that the guardrails pull back outside. Crazy and Guido are brawling just over the guardrail, and Tajiri hits a really nice Asai moonsault from the second rope, taking out both men. After this, Tajiri and Guido then get back up because Super Crazy thinks, "Oh, fuck you then, I'm gonna go one better." So he does a top rope Asai moonsault, which looks even better than Tajiri's one, and takes out both men. In the ring, a double submission sequence where Guido locks Tajiri in a Sicilian crab, and Crazy locks him in a bow and arrow lock. Tajiri, of course, doesn't tap. There's a really, really nice surfboard stretch by Crazy, which he does the rolling surfboard stretch on Tajiri around the ring. Guido ends that by drop kicking Tajiri in the face. Guido is the first one eliminated when Crazy hits him with Crazy hits the triple jump moonsault. That eliminates Guido. Then, of course, it's down to Tajiri and Super Crazy, and this is what you'd expect from these two. There's a really nice sunset flip powerbomb off the top rope by Super Crazy on Tajiri, which gets 2. Tajiri counters a springboard. Basically, Crazy goes for a springboard moonsault, gets caught by Tajiri, and Tajiri turns it into a German suplex with a bridge. That's really nice. That gets 2. Crazy then goes for the triple jump moonsault, hits the first one. The second one, Tajiri gets the knees up, buzzsaw kick, brainbuster, gets the win for Tajiri. About 15 odd minutes. 3 3/4 stars. Nothing wrong with this match at all. I don't think it's just been as strong as some of their previous matches. But again, a really, really solid match between these three. So I have forgotten a couple of spots in the match. The one thing I did forget was there was a really nice top rope inverted tornado DDT by Crazy onto Jerry. That got 2. And then Sal's interference earlier in the match before Sal got drop kicked off the apron. He was supposed to go through a table, but he ended up missing the table and going onto a concrete floor. So I bet Sal must have been hurting after that. Yeah, the bit I did forget to mention, Sal did interfere before this. He hit a World's Strongest Slam on Crazy, and then hit a really nice sit-down powerbomb on Tajiri. Both of those moves only got 2 for Guido. 3 3/4 stars. Nothing, but great things to say about this match. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the second half of the show, considering that we've got Mike Awesome versus Tanaka versus Taz, RVD versus Balls Mahoney, and Sabu versus Just Incredible. So I'm looking forward to those matches, so I will let you know what I think of those in the second part of the review. Thank you very much, guys. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and click the bell for more videos like this one. Stay safe. Take care, guys.